Hello everybody, my name is Ben, and today I've got a deck tech. For the most part, I have been staying away from multicolor decks because, well, I don't like that they're inconsistent. And you know what? Before I forget anything else, happy 4th of July, everyone. I don't know if anyone heard fireworks just go off in the background, but yeah, they're probably going to be coming in and out on this video, so if you hear anything, that's probably the fireworks. Either that or me just being really bad at making a video, I guess. Anyway, so I would like to say here, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more videos regularly, especially now that I'm back in town. And I guess I need to correct something that I said in a previous video. I said that it was Kentucky where Harrison Bay was. It's not Kentucky, it's actually Tennessee. I should have known better, but things happen, I forget. Anyway, so this is my deck that I have built. It's red blue burn, and it's Keranos. Now, funny story about this guy here is about 2 months ago I went to Treasure Coast Magic, which is up in Port St. Lucie, and he had some packs that were, I'd been there previously, like a month before, and he had 3 packs of Journey into Nyx just sitting back there, and nobody bought them. So I came back a month later in April, I saw them there, it was 3 for $8, so I was like, what the hell, I'll buy them. So I open up the first pack, and I get a Keranos. I open up the second pack, I get another Keranos. The third pack I open, I got a Dictative Erebos. So that was really like one of the first times where I opened packs, especially packs of Journey into Nyx, and didn't get hosed. So yeah, that's an interesting little story. I thought I'd share it with you guys. But anyway, let's get into the meat of the deck. Let's see, starting with lands, I am running 34 lands, which is 13 mountains. So 13 basic mountains, 12 islands, and then everything else is non-basic lands. We've got Command Tower, always a staple. Myriad Landscape. I actually, I was looking through my LGS. I go to the Wizard's Tower, and was going through the box. Found this. What the hell? Pick it up, nice and cheap. Temple of the False God, stable. I used to not like that card, but I've grown to like it, especially with one of the spells you'll see in this deck, which now that if I do make another multicolored deck, any deck that includes blue, I'm going to be putting that spell in that deck. Opal Palace. Why not? That was a card that I just thought would be good. Why not put Keranos out with a 1/1 counter, even if most of the time he's not going to be attacking. Forgotten Cave, cycle card. That was another card that I found when I found the Myriad Landscape, which was pretty good for me. Shivan Reef, it's Pain Land, it's really good, comes in untapped. Swiftwater Cliffs, it comes in tapped, but I gain a life. Let's see, I've got the Dragon's Promo Evolving Wilds. I don't know how rare that is, but I also found that with the Forgotten Cave and the Myriad Landscape, which was pretty cool. And of course, is it Guildgate? So yeah, the land base in this deck is pretty boring. I mean, I run mostly basics, and like I said, this is kind of a budget deck. I just kind of like, a buddy of mine was like, hey, I'm trying to build Jeskai, could you give me some ideas? And I kept giving him ideas, and he wasn't too receptive to it, but ultimately, the ideas that I gave him gave me the idea, what the hell, why don't I just build the deck myself? And here we are. Anyway, let's see. I run 1 Planeswalker. It's Duretti Scrap Savant. I've got 2 of these laying around, so I just thought, why not throw him in the deck? He doesn't really... I don't know. I like him for his +2. And now we're on to creatures. I have, we'll start with the multicolor creatures. I've got Storm Chaser Mage. It's a 1/3 for 2. Comes in, has haste and flying and prowess. I like him in this deck. It's really good. Dax Duplicant. Copy something, dethrone trigger. Okay, it's pretty good. Let's see, Mercurial Geist, I think is what this one's called. It's a 1/3 Geist with flying, and it's 2 and a blue and a red, and it says that whenever you cast a instant or sorcery spell, it gets +3/+7 until the end of the turn. So yeah, it's pretty good. And my last multicolored creature is Goblin Electromancer. It's a 2/2 for blue and a red, and it says instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 colorless less. It's not Brawl, but, you know, it's a 2/2. Why not? And let's see, I have my first artifact creature, or only artifact creature, actually. Steel Hellkite. You know, it costs 6. It's a 5/5 with flying, and it says you can pay X after it deals damage and destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X, where X is the number of damage dealt by. Let's see, X whose controller was dealt damage by the Hellkite. You know, every time I try that card in a deck, I just I don't know. I don't like it too much, but I'll give it a shot in this deck. Maybe it works out. Let's see, I also have, let's see, for my red cards, I have Tyrant's Familiar. It's 5, double red for a dragon that's a 5/5 with flying and haste, and it says as long as you control your commander, it gets +2/+2, and has whenever when Tyrant's Familiar attacks, it deals 7 damage to the target creature the defending player controls. It's pretty good. Zealous Conscripts is a 3/3 with haste. It's a human warrior for 4 and a red, and it has, let's see, it says when it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent until the end of the turn. Untap that permanent, it gains haste until the end of the turn. So, somebody told me that there's a combo with that in Splinter Twin, so I may actually look into that, especially now that Splinter Twin is like a $4 card, so look forward to that showing up in the deck, and if I do put it in, I'll make a video about it. Let's see. Hellkite Tyrant is a 6/5 dragon for 4 and double red. It has flying and trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. Why not? Let's see. Bogadin Hellkite. 6 double red for a 5/5 with flying and flash. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number target creatures and or players. Yeah, it's pretty good. Flash them in. Kilden Marauders is a 3/3 for 1 and a red with Vanishing 2. And when it enters the battlefield or it leaves the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target player. Oh, I thought it dealt damage to creatures too. No, it's only players. Okay, never mind. Let's see. I've got Mom and Dad, or Pia and Karen Nolar. It's they're 2/2 for 2 and double red. When they enter the battlefield, put 2 1/1 colorless artifact creature tokens onto the battlefield with flying, and it says pay 2 and a red, sacrifice an artifact. Pia and Karen Nolar deal 2 damage to target creature or player. They're pretty good. Next we have my blue creatures. I have Devolian Primordial. It's 5, double blue, and it has flying. When he enters the battlefield, for each opponent you may cast up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If they would be cast this way, exile them instead. So it's kind of like a better Chancellor of the Spires. It doesn't mill people at the beginning of your upkeep, but it hits everybody. So it's I don't know. I like Spire or Chancellor of the Spires more, simply because it's just a card that you can show on your upkeep and just nuke somebody's graveyard, or library rather. Pearl Lake Ancient is 5 double blue for a 6/7 that has flash. It can't be countered, and it has prowess. Return 3 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Pearl Lake Ancient to your hand. So it's really hard to get rid of, and it has flash. So if you guys haven't noticed a trend here, I like to flash some creatures in. Augur of Bolas is 1 and a blue for a 1/3 that has, when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Yeah, that's good. Oh, and look, it's foiled. Gotta get that bling somehow, you know. Next, we have Sphinx of Uthin. It's a 5/6 Sphinx with flying for 5 and double blue. And when it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put one of them in your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So it's a fact or fiction on a Sphinx, because why not? I wonder if the Sphinx legendary that they're going to be releasing in Hour of Devastation is actually going to be any good, especially for Sphinx Tribal. And you know, I don't know if anyone's seen the latest spoilers for Commander, but I'm not really too enthused by the whole thing. Let's see here. Now we're going to go to my non-creature spells, which is quite a bit actually. Let's see. We'll start with the multicolor spells. First is Brutal Expulsion, rather. It's 2 and a blue and a red. It has Devoid, and it says choose one or both. Return target spell or creature to its owner's hand, and it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that permanent would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Very flexible card. I love this card, and if you do go to my Facebook page, this is actually the cover art. I love this art. It's a pretty cool card. I pulled a foiled one back when, let's see, Zendikar actually released, so I kind of wish that I held on to it, especially now that I have this deck. But, you know, at the time it was a $7 foil, so I thought I would jump on that bandwagon before it dropped. Next we have Master of the Way. And it's a sorcery for 3 and a blue and a red. It says draw a card. Master of the Way deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. It's an interesting little burn spell. Why not? Next I have Blast of Genius. It's 4, a blue and a red. And it says choose target creature or player. Draw 3 cards and discard a card. Blast of Genius deals damage equal to the discarded card's converted mana cost to that creature or player. I actually like this card a lot. It does some work. It really does. Then we have Is It Charm. It's a red and a blue, and it's an instant. It says choose one. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2, or Is It Charm deals 2 damage to target creature, or draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Very flexible. I like it. And let's go on to the red spells that I have. I have Rending Volley. It's instant. Costs 1 red, and it says it can't be countered by spells or abilities, and it deals 4 damage to target white or blue creature. So some targeted hate. Why not? I can think of some good targets off the top of my head. Cards like Niv Mizzet. Yeah. I'm sure there's some better stuff out there, but this card could come in clutch. I actually just added it to the deck today, so I don't really know, but the card that it replaced was Blessed Reincarnation, which I used to think was actually a good card until I realized that it only targets your opponents, and that kind of sometimes will get something scarier than whatever you're exiling, and especially with Rebound, it's not that great. I thought I could target my own creatures with it at first, so that's kind of why it was there, but then upon reading it, I realized, no, it's not really that great. Let's see. From the Ashes is a sorcery. It costs 3 and a red, and it says destroy all non-basic lands. For each land destroyed this way, its controller may search his or her library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. At first, I was kind of questioning my my wisdom putting this in, and then I played against somebody who was playing Naya, and yeah, they had 8 non-basics, and of the 8 non-basics, they went down to like 2 lands. I completely nuked their board. It was beautiful. Volcanic Offering is an instant, and it costs 4 and a red, and it says destroy target non-basic land you don't control, and target non-basic land of opponent's control you don't control. Volcanic Offering also deals 7 damage to target creature you don't control, and 7 damage to target creature of an opponent's choice you don't control. So if you're playing one-on-one, there's no downside to this at all. None whatsoever. It's great. Next we have Cathartic Reunion. It's 1 and a red, and it's a sorcery. It says that as an additional cost to casting it, discard 2 cards, draw 3. If you haven't noticed the trend, there's the trend for you guys. So like, the whole point of the deck is to just draw stuff, draw as many cards as possible, discard everything else. It's kind of like a speed deck. I just go through all the bullshit to get to what I want. Word of Seizing is an instant, and it's 3, double red, and it's a split second, and untap target permanent, and gain control of it until the end of the turn. It gains haste until the end of the turn. Yeah, it says permanent. Again, you know, just like the, what is it? God, my brain's not working right now. The creature that I have, the Zealous Conscript, when it comes in, it gains control of a permanent. So, yeah, sometimes it's a creature, sometimes it's not. Let's see. Next, I have Mass Mutiny. It's 3 double red for sorcery. For each opponent, gain control up to 1 target creature that player controls until the end of the turn. Untap those creatures that gain haste until the end of the turn. I like this card. I really haven't played it yet, but someday I will, and someday it'll actually do something. But it's fun. Next up we have Fateful Showdown. It's 2 double red for an instant. It says it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. Discard all cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. So it's a burn and wheel. It's pretty good. I like it. Volcanic Visions is 5, double red for sorcery. It says return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Vision deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to each creature your opponents control. Exile Volcanic Visions. This card, I love it. The one time that I resolved it, I just nuked everything. Let's see. Yeah, to each opponent's creature. So basically what I did was I played it and I got back a spell. I think it was Incendiary Command that I got, so it was 5. I dealt 5 damage to all the creatures on the board and just wiped the board. It was pretty cool. Speaking of Mizzium Mortars, I've got, it's 1 and a red, it's a sorcery, and it says it deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control, and then for 3, triple red, you may overload it. So, yeah. And look, it's foiled. Probably the only reason it's there, but I like it. Howl of the Horde is 2 and a red for sorcery. It says that whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for it. And it also says raid. If you attacked with a creature this turn, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell an additional time. You may choose new targets for it. For the copy. It's pretty good. Tormenting Voice is 1 in red, and it says as an additional cost, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Yeah, this is a pillage kind of deck, or rummage rather. Is that the correct way to say it? Rummage? Yeah, it's probably rummage. pillages something completely different. Anyway, let's see. Vandal Blast is 1 red for sorcery. This is destroy target artifact you don't control, and it has overload for 4 in a red. So you're playing a game, somebody plays Microsynth Lattice for you, and then they make everything an artifact, and maybe you get an asymmetric board wipe out of it. Still, this card right here, it does work. It does lots of work. Let's see, Banefire is X in red, and it says Banefire deals damage to target creature or player. If X is more than 5, it can't be countered by spells or abilities, and the damage can't be prevented. It's pretty good. Incendiary Command, that was the card I was just talking about. This card gets a lot of shit for being kind of shit. I mean, it is... okay, I'll admit, it's not a very good card, but you know what? This is a budget deck, and this card's kind of funny in this deck. It says, choose 2. Incendiary Command deals 4 damage to target player, or Incendiary Command deals 2 damage to each creature, or destroy target non-basic land, or each player discards all the cards in his or her hands, then draws that many cards. So it's another wheel effect. It's budget. It's nice. Here we go. We've got Price of Progress. Price of Progress deals damage to each player equal to twice the number of non-basic lands that player controls. So, yeah, if... I guess the whole idea is I draw into this before I get drawn to From the Ashes. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a theme going on in this deck. Faithless Looting is 1 red for a sorcery that says draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, and it has flashback for 2 in a red. It's good. And then we have Magma Quake. It's X and double red, and it says it deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. For those times you need to just kill all the planeswalkers. And my last red spell is probably one of the best red spells. It's Chaos Warp. It says the owner of target permanent shuffles it into his or her library, then reveals the top card of his or her library. If it's a permanent card, he or she puts it onto the battlefield. So, I don't know if I've told this story on the channel yet, but Chaos Warp, there was one time a buddy of mine, he's playing his Mael deck, and he plays something that was kind of scary. So I was like, what the hell, I'll Chaos Warp it. What's the worst that can happen? Vorticlex. Vorticlex was the worst that could happen. It felt really bad. But, yeah, Chaos Warp. That's kind of what the name implies. Chaos. Sometimes you get something good, sometimes you get something that's just gonna fuck your day. I got something that fucked my day. Anyway, now we're on to the blue spells. The blue spells are fun. Let's see, I have Memory Lapse, which is possibly one of my favorite spells. I just love this spell. It's so good. It's one of those underplayed, undervalued kind of cards. It just says, counter target spell, put that spell on top of its owner's library. You get to time walk them. It's great. Let's see, next is Rewind, and this is the spell that I was talking about, that from now on, anytime I play blue, this card's going to be in there, as long as there's blue. Rewind is 2 and double blue, and it says counter target spell and tap up to 4 lands. It's good. It's really good. Next we have Brainstorm. It's an instant. Draw 3 cards and put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library. Any order. Confirm Suspicion is 3 and double blue. Says it's an instant. It says counter target spell, investigate 3 times. It's pretty good. You counter a spell, and then later on you get some stuff that you can just crack and draw some cards. Reality Shift is 1 in a blue, and it says exile target creature. A controller manifests the top card of his or her library. Primo, blue removal. It's really good. Gets rid of the things that you don't like. Rapid Hybridization is 1 blue for an instant. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Then give them a 3/3 Frog Lizard. So, yeah. Another Primo blue removal. It's like Pongify, only not. You get a frog lizard instead of an ape. Frog lizard's a cool one. Next we have compulsive research. Target player draws 3 cards, then that player discards 2 cards unless he or she discards a land card. So, yeah. Goes through the deck. Helps me pull out answers. Then we have Daze. It's 1 and a blue, and it says counter target spell unless they pay 1. And then you may also return an island to your hand rather than pay its cost. So this card right here has saved me many, many times. I mean, sometimes it's a dead card in your hand. A lot of times it's going to be dead in your hand. But for those times where you just absolutely need to counter something, especially when they're tapped all the way out, this is your answer. This is your answer. Oh, and it's in Japanese. So, I mean, you can look it up. Yeah. Yeah, it totally says what it says, what I say it says. I have an English version if you want me to pull it out. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said that to me. Anyway, Preordain is a sorcery, and it's 1 blue. It says scry 2, then draw a card. Why not? Why not? Alright, so those are the spells in the deck. Now let's move on to the enchantments and the mana rocks. And this deck is janky as hell when it comes to those things. Let's see, my first enchantment is 2 double blue, and it's called Steel Artifact. And it says you control target artifact until it's I think this is like, I think this is 4th edition, but basically what it says is it's like control magic but for an artifact. You gain control of it and until they blow this up. Next, we have Mystic Remora. It costs 1 blue, and it has cumulative upkeep 1. Whenever target opponent successfully casts a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. That player may pay 4 to counter this effect. So, this was a 25-cent card, and now because of Solemnity, it's gone up to $2. So, what the hell? I found 2 of these in the box a really long time ago, and yeah, they've been sitting around gathering some value. Kind of wish I had bought them when they were still 25 cents. I was like, yeah, this card's never going to go anywhere. It's kind of like it's a fixed Rustic Study, I guess. I mean, Rustic Study is any spell. This is non-creature spell. So if you're playing against somebody who's only playing creatures, which the times that I played it were pretty much most of the time. The only time I ever got a value out of it was in a multiplayer game, and it went around 2 times, and I drew a shit ton of cards. Speaking of drawing cards, to get some value from drawing cards, I have Sphinx's Tutelage. It's 2 and a blue, and it says whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into the graveyard. If they're both non-land cards that share a color, repeat the process. It's really good. Mills people. Gets lots of things. So let's go on to the red enchantments that I have. I have Goblin Assault. It costs 2 in a red, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste, and then it says goblin creatures attack each turn if able. Get a creature. Goblin Bombardment is 1 in a red, and it says sacrifice a creature. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. It's pretty good. Especially, like, I guess the whole idea and theme that I was trying to go for with this deck was to just, like, steal people's stuff, sacrifice it, get some value out of it. Rite of the Raging Storm. It's 3 double red, and it's an enchantment that says that when it enters the battlefield, creatures named Lightning Rager can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts a 5/1 elemental creature token named Lightning Ranger onto the battlefield. If it has trample and haste, and at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this creature. It's pretty good. Witch Hunt is 4 in a red for an enchantment that says players can't gain life. At the beginning of your upkeep, Witch Hunt deals 4 damage to you. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent chosen at random gains control of Witch Hunt. It's a chaos card. Outpost Siege is 3 in a red for an enchantment that says that as it enters the battlefield, choose Cons or Dragons. Cons is at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library until the end of the turn. You may play that card. Blah. And Dragon says whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Really good. Sulfuric Vortex is 1 in double red for an enchantment that says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, Sulfuric Vortex deals 2 damage to that player. If the player would gain life, that player gains no life instead. It's pretty good. It's kind of like, I've actually killed myself a couple times with that card. That and Witch Hunt, so, I mean, I could cut them, put something else there, but I think that they add a little to the game. Soul Ring is my first... excuse me, I'm sorry guys. It's my first Mana Rock. Soul Ring should be probably in every deck. People who don't have it, I'm sorry. I own 2 more copies of this card, but it's 1. It says tap, add 2 to your mana pool. Is it Cluestone is 3 for an artifact that taps for blue or red, and it says pay blue and red, sacrifice it, draw a card. Next we have Felwar Stone. It costs 2, and it says tap it, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color a land an opponent's controls could produce. So fun fact about this, if somebody has one of those lands in the field that says pay 1, tap it, add any color to your mana pool, this can actually tap for all the colors of the color pies, so why not? Darksteel Ignite, it's indestructible, costs 3, and it says tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It's Mana Rock, what to say? Is it Signet? Costs 2, pay 1, tap it, add blue-red to your mana pool. Is it? That was a bad joke. Warren Power Stone is 3 for an artifact that enters battlefield tapped, and it says tap, add 2 colors to your mana pool. So it's a fixed soul ring. I like it. It's good. It can be good. It could be worse. Could be better, but you know, like I said, budget. Let's see. Next, I have Trading Post. It's 4. And it's an artifact that says pay 1, discard a card, you gain 4 life, pay 1, tap it, pay 1 life, create a 0/1 white goat creature token, pay 1, tap, sacrifice a creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, and pay 1, sacrifice an artifact, draw a card. Nivrel's Desk is 4 for a artifact that enters the battlefield tap. And then it says pay 1, tap it, destroy all artifact, creatures, and enchantments. For those times when you just need a board wipe. And the last artifact of this deck is Altar of Dementia. Cost 2, it says sacrifice a creature. Target opponent puts the top number card, or puts a number of cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power from the top of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I love this card. I'd probably put it in every deck. Every deck except for my mono blue deck. Because reasons. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you actually stayed through all of this, thank you. You know, really, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever. Thanks again. My name's Ben. Bye.